The Castlevania franchise's video games have been long renowned for drawing inspiration from gothic horror and mythology. Beyond the iconic vampires, time and again they've introduced an array of mythical creatures such as minotaurs and golems, further enriching the series' dark and alluring universe. Do you remember how Netflix's original Castlevania series had the remarkable ability to transform even its most villainous characters into figures audiences couldn't help but sympathize with? While the heroes were undeniably compelling, there's always a unique fascination in embracing the darker side, and the entire Castlevania franchise certainly rejoices in that. Despite their malevolent deeds and violence against humans, these antagonists managed to captivate viewers' hearts, as they were all the victims of their own unfortunate circumstances.
Cypher, do you have my back?
Always.
What truly stood out in the spin-off Castlevania Nocturn was how it elevated this narrative aspect even further by introducing the enigmatic Nightcreatures. The artists behind the series demonstrated a profound understanding of character design, crafting monsters that were both visually captivating and emotionally complex. Seeing these Nightcreatures will almost overwhelm you with a peculiar mix of emotions, torn between admiration for the artistic imagination behind their design, the sadness behind their tragic origin, or even frustration towards rooting for them even if they are antagonists. In this video, we will explicitly explore the Nightcreatures featured within the Castlevania franchise, narrowing down from their origin to their creation. So, without wasting another moment, let's get right to it. But before we get into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. It's a small click for you, but for us, it means an awful lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
The sun is already down.
What are Nightcreatures? A Nightcreature emerges from the reanimation of a deceased body through a mystical procedure known as forging. While sharing a common aim of resurrecting the deceased, forging diverges from traditional necromancy by involving the intricate infusion of an external soul, or a demon, into the lifeless body. These souls are primarily sourced from the infernal realm of hell, a dimension reserved for the souls of those condemned in life, where they face retribution for their transgressions. Beyond mere revival, the primary objective of the forging process is to breathe new life into the deceased, which encompasses both restoring the body to its original form, though occasionally with partial loss of certain body parts, and even granting it an entirely fresh guise. Furthermore, this process often entails bestowing upon the revived entity a completely distinct identity, diverging from the individual's former life. Now, this morbid practice is a feat achievable only by a select group of individuals aptly named Forge Masters. What distinguishes each Forge Master's work is the personalized and distinctive nature of their crafting process, making it a truly unique endeavor for every practitioner. Do these Nightcreatures share any similarities with demons? In the Castlevania animated series, a distinct shift occurs in the portrayal of supernatural entities compared to the original video game series. Nightcreatures, as depicted in the show, share similarities with demons but are fundamentally different from the innocent devils found in the games. The series conflates these concepts, creating its own unique mythology. In the games, creatures inhabiting Dracula's castle are typically products of chaotic magic and are referred to as demons. These beings are not crafted by any Forge Master, but instead originate from the realm of chaos. A central source of power, known as chaos, fuels Dracula, his minions, and the castle itself, although delving deeper into this lore would entail revealing significant spoilers, which is a topic for a different video. However, we can assure you the demons in the main game series are essentially monsters originating from hell. However, in the Netflix series, the only examples of demons seem to be those that arrived through the Infinite Corridor in the climactic battle of Season 3. Nightcreatures, on the other hand, are souls from hell that are transplanted into organic material here on Earth. Forge Masters like Hector and Isaac are responsible for this transformation. The result is a monstrous form chosen by the Forge Master. Nightcreatures are bound to the will of their creators and act as obedient servants, essentially created to act as thralls. Overall, to clarify, demons are naturally spawned entities from hell, while Nightcreatures are the product of the Devil Forge Master's dark magic, involving the infusion of foreign souls into dead bodies. Some Nightcreatures may have been humans before undergoing this transformation under the command of a Devil Forge Master.
Isn't that the definition of insanity? Am I mad?
Who are these Forge Masters? A Devil Forge Master is a human proficient in the dark arts, possessing the unique ability to craft demonic and malevolent creatures. This enigmatic profession is introduced in Castlevania Curse of Darkness and played a pivotal role in Dracula's initial reign of terror over Wallachia. The Devil Forge Masters, however, transcend the conventional notion of mere sorcery. They are not only adept in black magic, but are also well versed in alchemy and spiritual metaphysics, further extending their expertise to the craft of powerful weapons conjured from raw materials of diverse origins. Furthermore, they wield the forbidden knowledge required to fashion magical beings known as innocent devils. These creatures are born from darkness, with a spectrum ranging from creations of the Forge Master's own design to the reanimation of the deceased. All these innocent demons share an unwavering allegiance to their respective Forge Masters and evolve in strength through combat and destruction. As once loyal servants within Dracula's ranks, Devil Forge Masters may have contributed to the mass creation of various enemies and fiends, though this remains speculative. It is said that the power of a Devil Forge Master rivals that of death itself, making practitioners exceedingly rare. Only 2 known Devil Forge Masters appear in the game, Hector and Isaac, both marked by the emblem of the Devil Forge Masters. Curiously, Devil Forge Masters are typically identified solely by their first names. Although the rationale behind this custom remains unexplained, it is plausible that relinquishing their family names symbolizes their renunciation of any ties to their former normal lives, signifying their commitment to the dark arts.
It's because you're all so fucking rude.
The Nightcreatures forged within the Castlevania animated series. In the Castlevania animated series, the Devil Forge Masters play a pivotal role in Dracula's grand campaign against humanity. As discussed before, these human beings garner a unique mastery of the dark arts, allowing them to create malevolent creatures and wield powers beyond mortal imagination. The Castlevania animated series further implies that damned souls in hell undergo transformations into demons as part of their punishment. So, Devil Forge Masters use dead bodies as vessels to house these demon souls in the real world, granting them their demonic forms. Sometimes, some of these demons even manage to escape hell directly into the world through the Infinite Corridor. These demonic night creatures are driven by a primal instinct to kill, destroy, and despoil. They feed on meat and blood, but can subsist on other sources as well. So, as the story goes, Dracula, driven by vengeance against humanity for the unjust execution of his beloved wife, sought to build an army capable of carrying out his merciless mission. To accomplish this, he turned to the assistance of 2 exceptional Forge Masters named Hector and Isaac. Now, these guys had the knowledge and skills necessary to pluck souls from the depths of hell and harness them to forge monstrous soldiers. Now, Dracula held them in high regard for their capabilities, a respect that contrasted sharply with the disdain his vampire army had for them, viewing these human Forge Masters as weak and troublesome additions to their ranks. Yet, Hector and Isaac became invaluable assets in Dracula's brutal campaign, granting him a distinct advantage in battle and an almost limitless supply of powerful soldiers. Their relentless onslaught devastated cities and towns, rendering human defenses nearly futile. Ultimately, humanity's resistance found its champions in Trevor Belmont, Sypha Belnades, and Alucard, Dracula's own son, who rallied against his nightmarish forces. However, amidst the chaos, Carmilla, one of Dracula's powerful generals, betrayed him and launched an assault against Dracula's forces in Brela. Her treachery nearly annihilated both armies. Defeated but undeterred, Carmilla returns to Styria, carrying Hector as a captive. The Vampire Council in Styria recognized Hector's potential in creating an army akin to Dracula's. Lenore, a member of the council, offered herself to persuade Hector to comply. Meanwhile, during the Battle of Brela, Isaac was saved by Dracula, who sent him through a transmission mirror. Fueled by loyalty and gratitude, Isaac started on a solitary quest to continue Dracula's campaign, aiming to purge humanity from the world once and for all and achieve a supposed cleansing of conflicting presences. Along the way, he recruited the bodies of those he encountered in cities and towns, fashioning a new army. Eventually, Isaac's campaign proved successful as he amassed an army of night creatures powerful enough to ultimately defeat the treacherous vampire queen Carmilla. But through his journey, Isaac underwent a personal transformation, realizing that humanity actually deserves its place in the world. So, after his victory, Isaac became the new ruler of Styria. Throughout the animated series, Hector and Isaac are the most prominent Devil Forge Masters. Both Hector and Isaac channel their magic through specific tools, with each having a unique color associated with their powers: red for Isaac and blue for Hector. Hector's forging process involves the meticulous reconstruction of dead bodies in a workshop, which is a seriously time-consuming endeavor. His creations often appear in a zombified state, with some body parts missing. But on a contrasting note, Hector has the ability to bring the dead back to life with their original bodies, although he can also create other transmogrified forms. But Hector's Nightcreatures vary in combat abilities, with some resembling their former selves while others become mindless shades. Plus, his Nightcreatures also emit a distinctive light blue glow from their eyes. Isaac's forging process, in contrast, is swift, efficient, and far more precise. He uses a ritualistic dagger to transform living beings almost instantly into Nightcreatures. Isaac primarily works with living bodies, and, unlike Hector, he cannot revive bodies that are too decayed. But his creations are far more menacing, aggressive, and powerful, marked by a devilish red glow in their eyes. As many of you are aware, these Nightcreatures can take diverse forms, often appearing as grotesque abominations. They possess superior strength, speed, agility, and stamina compared to humans, making them quite superior foes. Many Nightcreatures even exhibit innate combat skills with various weapons, so naturally, Isaac's journey first leads him to question whether humanity deserves its place in the world, hinting at the potential for these creatures to follow their own will before, of course, becoming the ruler of Styria. Overall, Devil Forge Masters are marked by their loyalty to their former human connection, which Lenore exploits using magic rings to control Hector's creations. Notably, vampires cannot become Forge Masters because the art requires a human connection, so Hector and Isaac's tools for forging must be crafted in a specific manner, with the object chosen based on the Forge Master's comfort. This forging process is the embodiment of the creation of life from death. Ultimately, these Devil Forge Masters in Castlevania wield incredible powers and play a critical role in the supernatural conflict, blurring the line between life and death. The Nightcreatures forged within Castlevania Nocturn. The Nightcreatures in Castlevania Nocturn are quite distinctive in nature from the OG Netflix animated series. Here, the abbot of the Catholic Church seeks to combat the French Revolution, viewing it as a disruption to the divinely ordained natural order. Sharing this concern, Ursabet Bathory, the vampire messiah, also aims to thwart the revolution to protect vampire supremacy. So, to bolster their cause, the abbot strikes a dark bargain with a demon, acquiring a machine from hell. This infernal device grants him the ability to forge Nightcreatures from human corpses, which are supplied by the vampires, his allies in this conflict. Initially, these Nightcreatures were also considered demons created by merging human corpses with souls from hell, which necessitated a highly skilled Forge Master, making the abbot a crucial figure in this endeavor. Nocturn had also mentioned that Nightcreatures have been absent from the world for centuries, making the abbot the first person to resurrect them. However, the abbot's creation process exhibits significant flaws, which is what made the creatures from this spin-off series stand out. Now, Nightcreatures are typically invulnerable and obedient, following their Forge Master's commands without question, making them ideal soldiers. They are said to have no recollection of their former human lives and basically turn into monstrous slaves to their master's whims. If you have seen the series, you might remember how a revolutionary named Jaux was witnessed outside the town pub in a seemingly drunken state, only to encounter a vampire noblewoman who viciously dug her fangs into him. This brutal encounter leads to the Chateau of the Marquis, where he becomes prey for all the upper-class vampires as they feed upon him, draining his body of blood to the brink of death and leaving his lifeless body among a heap of corpses. In a grim turn of events, Jaux' dead body is observed on a cart heaping with other corpses. It's then revealed that it was the abbot who was the Forge Master and intended to utilize Jaux' corpse as the material for the transformation into a Nightcreature. Later, under the cover of night, Richter Belmont, Marie Renard, Annette, and Edward embark on an investigative mission to the chateau to unravel the mysteries behind the revelry. As they stealthily navigate the premises, Annette makes the shocking discovery that the Comte de Valblac is alive and responsible for her and her mother's enslavement, as well as her mother's tragic demise. Overwhelmed by anger and fueled by her newfound power, Annette draws the attention of the group to the presence of vampires. As a fierce battle ensues, the group soon finds themselves outmatched, prompting them to retreat. As they hastily make their escape, Annette uses her abilities to construct a bridge over a perennial river. Tragically, Edward becomes the target of a relentless vampire assault from all directions and is eventually captured. Annette watches in despair as Edward is seized and taken away. Later, Edward's lifeless body is added to a wheelbarrow filled with other deceased individuals, destined for the Forge Master's sinister purposes in creating more Nightcreatures. Later, the revolutionaries are introduced to Annette as an integral participant in the uprising against the colonialists led by the Maroons. As Annette addresses the gathering, a sudden and perilous assault unfolds as the Nightcreatures descend upon them. Among the menacing horde, Annette is confronted by the haunting sight of Edward, unmistakably recognizable through his piercing blue eyes. The transformation of Edward into a Nightcreature is revealed as a consequence of a dark pact orchestrated by the Abbot. This malevolent bargain involved the Abbot's construction of a machine with the aid of a demon, ultimately leading to the creation of an endless supply of Nightcreatures, including Edward. But strangely enough, Edward retains his humanity, as we witness when the Abbot sends him with the other Nightcreatures to attack Annette and her friends, and defies his orders so he could protect Annette instead. His disobedience leads to his imprisonment as the Abbot struggles to understand what went wrong. It's revealed that Edward retains fragments of his human memories and soul, even singing as he did in his human life. Edward's singing has a profound impact on the other Nightcreatures. We saw how Jacques was moved by Edward's song, even if he was guarding his cell as a Nightcreature, triggering a resurgence of his own humanity. Ultimately, Jacques and another Nightcreature guarding Edward defy their orders, siding with Annette. But Edward chooses not to leave with Annette, as his songs bring hope and light to others like him. In particular, Edward really stands as a poignant example. Despite his transformation into a horned monster, his character retains his human soul and memories, exemplifying the complex interplay of humanity and the supernatural in the world of Castlevania Nocturn. So, in a way, the Abbot's creation of Nightcreatures proves far from perfect. By the end of the first season, most of his Nightcreatures are defeated by Richter and his group. Among those remaining, some exhibit a fusion of human and demonic traits. These creatures, forged by Forge Masters, combine various elements, resulting in visually captivating beings such as the multi-eyed winged cat and a harpy-like monster. Their designs are a standout aspect of the series, adding depth and intrigue to the conflicts they engage in. But Castlevania Nocturn surely introduces Nightcreatures with strikingly intricate designs. You can see the artist's depth of imagination by how elegantly creative and striking these Nightcreatures are. Marvelous verdict! By now, we can wholeheartedly agree that these Nightcreatures are more than just nitpick adversaries to one-up a warrior protagonist's game. And with the release of Castlevania Nocturn, it seems like the Abbot will face quite some issues in raising an army of the dead for the vampire messiah if his creations mostly turn out to be like Edward or Jacques. And once again, the series really killed it with these designs. They're not grotesque, and the monstrosity of these Nightcreatures is just so hauntingly beautiful that you might even start to admire some of them because of their unique designs, unlike anything else we've witnessed in the entire Castlevania franchise. So, what do you guys think? Will these Nightcreatures eventually turn on the good side or resort to their original arc of becoming the menacing army of the undead for the spin-off Prime Villain? Let us know in the comments section down below, and until next time, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.